Miguel from Married at First Sight San Diego. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
So, like I was just telling you, what a good season. Really entertaining, great season. I got to know. So, I jumped on late in the game. I'm a Netflix
Yeah.
person. So, I just binge watched the whole season really quickly because I love to binge watch. You and Lindy were my favorite couple. You guys were
Mhm.
so hot. You hit it off from the beginning. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
they're going to make babies soon. What is going on with you and Lindy right now?
No, I mean the filming wrapped up 2 years ago. I think we officially divorced about 6 months after. To be honest, the timeline is murky, but what I do know is within a month of us finishing the filming of the Where Are They Now, we split up. I had asked Lindy for a divorce at that point because things were just really rocky between us.
But you guys were on a cliff on the beach and there was a
I
wave
know.
coming behind you taking a photo shoot. What
Yeah.
went wrong? That was so cute.
It was cute. We had some good times. I think what you guys don't see is the behind the scenes. We kind of we I don't want to say we tried to control the narrative. Lindy and I did have a lot of conversations of us feeling like the show was depicting us in a way that wasn't accurate to our relationship, and we got sensitive about it. There were some conversations we had about like, hey, let's put our best foot forward. Let's try to give them like the love story that they want so they can show us in a better light. But behind closed doors, like things were just really rocky.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw her kind of have some temper issues here and
Yeah.
there, and you seemed a little bit more
Me as
laid
well.
back. Yeah,
Well,
and
I
it seemed
mean,
like
to an extent.
miscommunication, but
Yeah.
and then you would shut down. I wouldn't say anger
Yeah.
issues. I'd say you would shut down instead of communicate. But overall, I mean, these were minor couple issues that you guys were having. So I was rooting for you
Yeah.
guys.
No, thank you. A lot of people were. To this day, I still get kind of a lot of hate. I get a lot of disappointment from people that watch the show that wish that we had worked out. But ultimately, it's for the better. You can ask Lindy as well. Like she's much happier now, not with me. So I think we made the right call.
Yeah. So are you still playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yeah, religiously, like every week.
Is it the same group? Do you have new people?
Yeah. Uh, sorry, I play. Have something in my throat. I play with two groups, one online and then one in person. And then it's many of the same people that were featured. Actually, there's like two people that weren't on the show that play in that group, but everyone else, if you saw them, you would recognize them.
That's so cool. Were your friends
Yeah,
excited to be on this reality show or
not at
nervous?
all. They hated it. They still give me crap to this day. I joke with them
Yeah.
that I'm like, hey, they're gonna invite me back. Like, are you guys, willing to be a part of round two? And they're like, hell no.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
now in like a famous Dungeons and Dragons meetup group? Are you like this Dungeons and Dragons, they worship you?
No, not at all. I'm just me. I'm just the regular. To be honest, like I don't know, like not much has changed for me post show, and I like it that way. Um, I'm just me. Yeah, just same old me.
Yeah. Do you think so? Two-part question. Did you and Lindy watch the show back? And if so, do you think it helped or hindered the relationship?
um, yes, we did watch. I watched a little bit more than Lindy did. So Lindy, I think, saw up until like episode 3 or so, and then I think I saw until episode 5, maybe
And
a
you
little bit
guys just
more.
dropped off? You don't want to know or see the editing?
Well, it was.
It was too
It was
hard.
It was hard for a couple reasons. One being that it messes with you because you remember things a certain way, and then you watch it on the show, and you're like, "Did that actually happen that way?" Or did I think? It messes with your head because you don't know what's real, and it starts to make you question your own memories. And then you start to see things that either bring up old wounds or you start to see things that you didn't know that somebody said and you're like, wait, what is that? What you thought about me at the time? It was just kind of silly, unnecessary to go through, especially because Lindy and I were working through things at the time. Even
Yeah. I think
yeah.
it'd be really difficult for any relationship to solve a disagreement and then relive it on TV and then potential
Yeah.
seeing trolls comments online about it. Luckily, you
Yeah.
weren't in the boy fight though. There was like
The
the
boy, the
biggest
Nate and
tension.
Justin fight.
Yes.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
did
yeah.
you think about that?
I saw that coming from a mile away. There was tension
Oh.
brewing for like a while.
Did they meet
I
on Grinder? Did they really date, and that's why they were fighting?
No,
What was
not that I
that?
know of. No, no, no. They're both good friends of mine actually to this day.
I think they're both heterosexual too, so that threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
they are. I
"What?"
mean, as far as I know, they are.
That was
Um,
crazy.
I think just disagreements happen. There's a lot of tension. What you guys don't know is that there's a lot of stress and tension that we're subject to, I guess, during filming. And then, you know, you're trying to manage this like new marriage. You're trying to manage everyone's, you know, talking in your ear. Like you got the producers expecting things of you, your friends expecting things, your family, you got the experts, you got your own new spouse. There's a lot of stress you're under. And then little things kind of get carried away. I think for them, I don't know, one thing happened, then another thing happened, then finally leads to that, you know, that big blow up in the reunion. But they're good. They talked it out afterwards, and you know, I won't say they're friends. I don't. They may be now. I don't think they are,
They're
but they're good.
cordial,
They're cordial.
though.
They're respectful towards each other. But that's, you
Yeah.
know, sometimes that's how guys we operate. Like we just need to like yell at each other, and the next thing you know, we're best buds.
Yeah, guys get it out faster. Some girls are terrified of confrontation and then just,
Yeah.
like, talk shit their whole life and never work it out. I'm
Oh
not
no,
I think I
screw
handle it like a
that.
guy. I'm like, "Hey, this pissed me off. I'm mad. Okay, I'm over it.
It's
Thanks
better.
for."
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
Life is too short. Yeah.
People don't realize, and why, I'll be real, from a spectator, I like watching Married at First Sight because it's a
Hmm.
high stress environment.
It
You
is.
guys are
Yeah.
just rushed in. I mean, I've been married in 7 months. I'm not gonna lie. I've done something crazy, right? But
Okay.
I can't imagine not knowing who you're marrying and then cameras following you around and living together right away. And you've got
Right.
animals and jobs and everything. So you guys are sleep deprived while
Yes.
filming, and that can really hinder your ability to think
Oh,
straight or
absolutely.
your irritability and whatnot. So
100%. I could speak to that. I mean, I mean, during the retreat, I would say like that was like textbook sleep deprivation, stress, how it just brings out the worst of you. And it's funny, whenever I say that, people immediately want to jump and say like, oh, look, he's trying to provide excuses or no,
no.
I'm wrong. I've said it. I apologize during the show, after the show. I still do to this day. I was wrong for how I treated Lindy, but there was definitely not excusing myself, but I was definitely sleep deprived, under a lot of stress, just cranky, irritable. You know, brought out definitely the worst side of me.
Yeah, you're trying to live your real life and then you want to make an entertaining show that you are getting paid as little as people get paid on reality shows because you're being paid. I know I'm a
Yeah,
people pleaser. I wanted to also like listen to
yeah,
producers and bring a show.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to work my ass off to like create these silly dating shows while I'm tired and I have a real life. So it can be a lot.
It was hard because to that point, exactly. I feel like I'm also a little bit of a people pleaser. And I was trying to appease the producers, trying to appease Lindy, you know, show off. I was like, I think back and I'm like, I was definitely, you know, like putting it on a little bit, like trying to show off and be funny and be,
You want to make a
I don't
good
know.
show. People are
Yeah, I was
watching the
just, you
show.
know,
Like you
I
don't
was
want to be
conscious of
boring.
exactly. I'm like, this is a reality show. Let's give them what they want. Um, to this day, I don't know if that was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. Overall, I'm satisfied with how I, you know, just like, I don't want to say portrayed myself, but I'm satisfied with just the me that was present in the moment.
The outcome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, more or less. I mean, it goes back to like, do I feel satisfied with like, I don't know, like the me that I was? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, but also you gotta remember that editing can do a lot, like, what they
Yeah,
throw in at
that's out
what
of my
times.
hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though it is you, they can kinda perceive you to be a version of who would be better for a show. So,
Hmm.
I wouldn't take it personally. Okay, on to something fun. So,
Yeah.
first I was like, "Okay, Lindy's this sweet, more reserved girl. She's not
Yeah.
gonna give it up for a while." Then you jump on top of her on the honeymoon, and you're giving her a back massage. Were
Yeah.
you like, was it hard to keep it down? Were you like getting half a chub while on her back?
Was I getting? I probably
Was she
was,
excited?
being dead
Like, do you think
honest.
that
We were
like
both
moved it?
excited. I think
Yeah.
what the show doesn't really depict accurately is we were both excited. You know, I think I don't want to speak for Lindy. I'll just speculate. Her, given her background and given that this is airing on national television, You're going to have family watching it. You're going to have friends watching it. Sex is always an uncomfortable conversation to have for
Yeah.
me as well. And I think that's also why I was kind of like coming on a little bit too strong, because I was like, this is uncomfortable for me normally, but I'm trying to get over that because there's nothing wrong with sex, especially when there's like two consenting adults that are attracted to each other, that are giving each other the signs and the signals. So what you don't see is that there was a lot of stuff happening in the background that didn't really
You
show.
guys were
But then
very physically attracted to each other.
and we were also very physical. That didn't
Yeah.
really show. But I
Okay.
think once the cameras turned on, Lindy did get a little bit shy, and she'd be like, no, stop. Like, I don't want this to air. I don't want people to know. I didn't care. I was just kind of like, doesn't matter to me, which is my fault. I should have read the room and should have been more aware of Lindy's interest in that.
But you guys are legally married at that point. Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm curious because
Yeah.
I've been through 2 divorces now. But
Okay.
you guys, did you have to separate finances and go through like a real divorce where you're separating things, or was it pretty chill?
We had to go. So because I filed for divorce, I went to the courthouse and filled out all the paperwork. We did a no contest divorce because we didn't have any joint assets at the time. We were
But
talking
she was on
about,
your healthcare, right?
she was, yeah,
So she had to go get healthcare. That was like the big disappointment.
probably. I don't know if
And
it was a
take your last
disappointment.
name off, right? The hyphenation, she had to
Yeah,
take that off.
that's the thing that sucks the most, which to this day,
Dude.
like I know it got so conflated at some point. Because it was
Yeah, that
never
was a big issue with you guys.
well, it really, it's funny how you just get swept up in stuff and then you get petty. In my case, I got petty and stubborn on something that didn't even truly matter to me at the end of the day. So just quick backstory.
Yeah.
Second day, the producers drive us to the courthouse. So we the first day is we get married. We meet at the altar. We say, I do, whatever. Second day, drive to the courthouse, sign the marriage certificate.
So you guys didn't have the certificate during the wedding.
No.
Wow, that fascinates me.
Yeah.
That's why I've done it
So
twice. So you guys actually aren't legally married on the wedding in the dress and tux.
um, yes, that's correct.
And you guys go the next day to the courthouse.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And then we
Okay.
signed the marriage certificate. During that process, they asked Lindy, hey, do you want to take his last name? Her answer was no, I don't feel comfortable given the circumstances in which we met, you know. And I was like, that's totally fair. I was like, to be
I'm old
honest, like,
fashioned. So I don't
well,
like
same,
I want to take my man's last name. I need
same.
it. I don't know. I just don't think it's a real marriage without that.
Yeah, I
So, but I
mean,
get where both parties are coming from. I'm just
yeah, for
saying, I
sure.
think if you're willing to just marry a stranger, you got to also take the stranger's last name. It goes hand in
Yeah,
hand.
we can debate that anyway.
So that bummed you out on day 2 when you go to
Um,
the courthouse and she's like, I don't want to take his last name. Did it kind of
it
set you
didn't.
back at all or no?
No. In the early stages, I was kind of like waiting for Lindy to set the tone a little bit on like what she was comfortable with and what she wasn't, while at the
That's
same
nice
time
for
being
you.
authentic to but at the same time being authentic to myself. I remember putting a lot of stress on myself, like I want to honor her, but at the same time, I don't want to be, because I have a tendency sometimes to get rolled over by people. So,
Yeah.
and then it's my fault because then I bottle it in, and then as you guys saw during the retreat, I just like let it all out, all my frustrations. But anyway, long story short, it did. I was like, okay, I would like for my wife to have my last name, but I understand why you don't, because this is crazy. We met as strangers. But then fast forward like a week after that, we're having brunch, and she had mentioned it before, but I don't know, just the conversation fizzled. But during a brunch we were having, she's like, by the way, you got to put me on your insurance. And I was like, why? You know, you have insurance. Why do I have to put you on mine? She's like, well, as your wife, you're obligated to put me, like as my husband, you're obligated to put me on your insurance. And I was like, well, that seems a little unfair to me, because under that same logic, as my wife, you should have taken my last name.
Yeah.
I brought it up as like a let's follow the logic here type thing. She understood that to be like, oh, so you're not going to put me on your insurance unless I take your last name, which I was like, no, that's not true. That's why when she's yelling at me in bed during that scene, she's like, if I get hit by a bus, and I'm like looking at her like, what are you like? We talked about this, we resolved this. And actually something that didn't air is that afterwards, Lindy comes to me. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I got caught up in the moment. I know we already figured it out. I know you're going to put me on your insurance. And I did. That would happen during a weekend brunch. The very next Monday, I filed the paperwork to have her on my insurance, independent of any last name stuff.
This was a really common couple disagreements though. And I'm glad like you guys had this too and the show aired it because so many of my
Yeah.
friends, especially my friends that have become doctors and lawyers that have established careers, don't want to
Yeah.
take their husband's last name and their husbands are
Right.
really upset and they've come to us complaining. And then same with like the insurance, right? Like I have insurance too, but it's maybe not the best. So of
Right.
course when I get married, I want to have if my husband's insurance is better quality. So these
Yeah.
are really common, but I did think it was fascinating and I didn't understand why there was even a discussion of, well, if you want someone's insurance, you should want their last name to be a complete family as a whole to be
Yeah.
together. But I
It
don't
was
know.
not a hill that either of us should have died on. I think, again, I look back and I'm like, what was I even thinking? Like, that's, you just, I don't know. You just get petty, you get stubborn. You start to feel like, well, I don't want to get taken advantage of. Like, what's in this for me type thing. It's a stupid,
A
I would
lot
have
of us
done
in
things differently.
relationships no, we all would, right? And our ego can
Yeah.
get in the way
Yeah,
of
for
sometimes
sure.
wanting to win or be
Hmm.
correct over something that we originally thought was, "This is the way I wanna be in a relationship." And then I think when you step back in time and you take a deep breath, you're like, "What that person said made sense. How can I
Yeah,
meet
you're like, what?
middle?" Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Okay, so I looked at your Instagram and I
Oh,
noticed
yeah.
that you went through this huge surgery and
Yeah.
your back
Yeah.
had all these problems. What happened?
Hernia. So I was born with congenital stenosis. It's a narrowing of the spinal canal. So I don't have the exact measurements, but the analogy I like to give is like, I was born with like half the opening size of the spinal canal, which means that that's where the nerves run through. So if you get any type of herniation or disc bulge, it's going to be like your tissues are extra sensitive to it because there's not enough opening. There's not enough space.
Do you play as a dwarf in Dungeons& and Dragons because of
That's
this?
funny.
No,
More like
I'm just a real
no, it's
question,
probably
no?
more like a gnome. Like
No, you'd be a gnome?
I was so messed up.
Are
I
you
played as a dwarf.
shrinking?
I think I shrunk like half an inch.
No way.
Yeah, so from short to shorter. But
But I
anyway, it's
in
fine.
reality though, so this is painful. This is you're going through a lot of
Oh
pain.
God.
So you had to go get the surgery.
Yeah, I mean, I between the time of initial, like between the time of severe injury to surgery was like about 8 months, and I tried everything, nothing worked, and I'm super glad I got the surgery.
Did you try drugs and hookers before
Didn't try the
surgery?
hookers because I couldn't operate, but definitely
I just
tried
wanna know if there
drugs.
was an easier thing than going under the knife. No? Okay.
I
So, but you're
wish.
better
Yeah.
now. You're healed. You can walk upright.
I'm better. I
Okay.
still have like some, even now talking to you, I still have like some remnant nerve pain down my legs, but I can tune it out and live like this.
Dang. Like, well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you're doing a little better, but that's rough.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it's a full
It
recovery and you don't need another
sucks.
surgery.
We'll see. Future me may need some, but I'm not even thinking that far yet.
Yeah. So, are you dating right now?
I'm casually dating. Yeah. Trying to get
Casually?
back out there,
On
see some
Tinder or
people.
Hinge or Real
I don't
World?
like the dating. Well, first of all, so I'm 5'8", so on the dating apps, I get passed over because all the women, not all of them, but a lot of them set their filter to like 6 feet and above, so they
Okay.
don't see me.
I'm so tiny that it doesn't bother me, but most of my girlfriends are taller, so they want
Yeah,
someone taller. I get that, but I'm
yeah.
a midget, so I'm just like, as long as you're taller than me, like that's
Midgets
cool.
unite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
same.
So
Um,
interesting. So I would think the opposite. You just taught me something new. I used to
hmm,
joke that, well, when I was on dating apps a couple years ago, all of the guys were shorter, I would say, than
hmm,
like real world at the bar dating. And I was like, I think
hmm,
most of the guys do better shorter on dating apps because you can get to
hmm.
know the personality and vibe and go, oh, I like, a 5'6" rather than
Yeah.
something in person. But you think in person dating is better for you.
For me, it's always worked better. Because you're like ordering a person off of a menu type thing. It's this weird scenario. Whereas in person, you get to like use your voice and use your body language and have that rapport. Like
Yeah.
what do they say? I can't remember, but like up to 70% of communication is body language or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to also address your point, I think you're right that maybe more shorter people did better on the dating apps, but that was pre-pandemic. I think post-pandemic, where everyone now was forced to be indoors, and it forced people to go on dating apps that weren't originally on dating apps. I think that's what skewed it.
I think I get your point, and I also realize I think dating apps become socially acceptable, When I first got divorced in 2018, I went on them and I was embarrassed. I remember not a lot of people were talking about it. It wasn't as
Yeah.
open. And now since
Yeah.
2020 and COVID, and there's even been Zoom dating, all of my friends are trying dating apps post-divorce, and it's become a common cool thing. I don't have good luck with them.
Mhm.
They're fun. Like, I'll come home bored and be like, I'll download it, and the next day I'll delete it. Like, I'm the worst at
Mhm.
staying on a dating app. But I too like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
person, young and broke. So that's my type. So
Young and broke.
okay, we have young and broke. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a
Nice.
cougar. So
Nice.
I like them like really
I love
young,
it.
mentally challenged, probably no future, maybe a record, like I can take care
Gotcha.
of.
Gotcha. Keeps things exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have 2 questions that made it past that weren't mean. There was a couple people I think
Could
saw
ask the mean
you
ones. I'll deal with the
in a
mean ones
different
too.
light. I didn't write them down
Okay.
from the hotline, but
Yeah.
I think they thought you were coming off as harsh sometimes when I viewed you as,
Yeah.
like, setting some boundaries, and, like, you had, like, it looked like a hangry moment, to be honest, at the couples retreat thing, it looks like you should
Yeah.
sit down and eat a meal and have a Snickers. So
I
I
needed a
wasn't judging
nap.
you, but I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, I think you need to decompress." Yes, you need, like, a nap and a big buffet. And so
Yeah.
I wasn't judging you, but I was like, "Okay." But no, I have 2 questions that I liked. Okay, the first one is Angie, and she said, "Do you think the show made you and Lindy's relationship stronger or weaker?" Well, I asked you in the beginning,
Neither.
so it sounds like it made it weaker because you guys didn't even watch it. No, neither? Okay.
No, I mean, because we didn't watch it. It didn't. We never had arguments of like, well, on the show, you said that let's, and that never happened. It was more like just uncomfortable. I think if anything, it messed with us as our own individual person or people. But I wouldn't say it affected the relationship either positively or negatively.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then Mike said, "Why didn't you wanna take photos of Lindy?" So I
I
guess he's
so
talking about when she was on a ledge somewhere,
No, so oh yeah, so
but
that's
yeah.
also another thing that gets so conflated. So again, I know I was wrong. I should have been kinder. I should have just take I should so okay. This is coming out of
You're
I
not a
had just
photography
dealt
major, is that what you're
no, well, that too actually. So long
no,
story
I don't
short,
know.
we had just finished dealing with McGindy, the little baby we had.
Oh my god,
Lindy
that looked
hated that thing.
exhausting. Why did they do that
Well,
to you
yeah,
guys? They didn't do it to
because
other
we were doing
people.
super no, because we were doing super well. They actually got to the point that they're like, guys, you got to give us content. Like there's nothing here. Your story's boring. And we're like,
They
I
wanted
don't
to
know what to
screw you
tell
up
you,
with
but
a
like
newborn
we're
baby.
getting along really well. So they're like, all right, give him the baby. And this thing would cry from like, I think it was like 11 a.m. or sorry, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. It would cry every 2 hours.
Is this why you still don't have a baby? Because of the fake baby on Married at First
No,
Sight?
I'm ready. I'm still wanting to,
You're
but
ready. Are you gonna just pop around San Diego just, like, knocking up all the
it's
girls
it's
tonight? Is
crossed my
that what's
mind.
happening?
I mean, I'm turning 38. I'm turning 38 this month, and I'm like, I gotta get this ball rolling if I want some kids.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
But
fertile. It's time to just, like, get all these young hot surfer girls pregnated.
yeah, exactly. I don't know
Maybe
about that.
tonight. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. But no, so yeah, so then
Okay.
I'm super exhausted. They had mic'd us. We're all dressed up for prom. They were like, okay, guys, in like 15, 20 minutes, we're gonna call you guys downstairs. I'm like, perfect. That gives me like opportune time to take a like lay down, take a power nap. So I'm laying down. I'm like kind of on my phone or like already. I can't really recall what was going on, but I know at some point the sun was setting. Lindy's like, hey, that's why there's no footage of this. There's just the audio. Lindy's like, hey, take a picture of me. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. Like, I'll take a picture of you. I I think it was the angle that because I was still laying down. I didn't get up. I'm laying down. I'm like trying to zoom in, take the picture of her. And she's like, no, come on. Like she's like demanding, like, get up and take a picture of me. And that just brought the devil out of me. I was like, what? You know,
You were Instagram husband. You just gotta wake up right away and take all the cute
I just
photos
gotta like get out,
of
hey,
be
let's
on
go.
it.
We're on the clock. Like,
I'm guilty of being that girl that's like, "Oh, I love this golden hour and I love this
yeah,
backdrop. Take a photo of me." I
yeah.
definitely I need an Instagram husband that likes to take photos, but
So here's the thing though. I did actually take a picture of her. It just wasn't
okay.
the picture she liked or wanted. But then that led to the whole, downward spiral of like, don't talk to me that way. Don't demand things of me. How dare you? I was trying to take a nap. Just me being, I don't know, egocentric or something. But then, yeah, so on the ledge, there's another sunset or something. And I took it personally because Lindy's like, hey, take a picture of me. And then she like almost hands me the phone. And then she's like, oh, actually, no, never mind. And then she gives it to the producer. And I got all butthurt because I'm like, no, like, I'll take a picture of you now because I'm rested. Like, I'm good. Like, let's do it. But again, I don't know. I got sensitive to it. And that also led to another argument. So I should have just taken the damn picture both times.
Right. This is every relationship.
I don't even know.
Like
Yeah.
never like,
just take
but
the
then
picture.
she got her feelings hurt that you said no because you were tired and you were just trying to decompress before you're back on film. So you're like, let me chill out for a second. And then you got a little bummed because you're like, wait, I'm your husband. Now let me get up and take the photo. But she asked
I
someone
felt like
else.
she was being passive aggressive. And to this day, I don't know because she was hard for me to read sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I felt like she was kind of like, take a picture. Oh, no, I'm not going to ask you because, you know. And I was like, what? Like, no, like, I'll do it now. Like, now's a good time. And then the whole like, hey, can I hug you? And at that point, I was like, I was like fuming. I was like, don't touch me right now. I need space. I'm like, I'm freaking out, but I'm trying to hold it together. It was just a bad weekend for us.
Which I think happens, but my love language is physical touch. So I think I would be deeply hurt if I went to hug my partner and they said no. I'd be like, like I need a hug. So
again, take the picture and hug your wife. That's the lesson to be learned.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life. But I will say it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month in June. We also do need to worry about the husbands and the men and not like slip that under the rug to make sure the men are happy
valid.
too. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Miguel, for taking time out of your day and coming by the new podcast. I love Married at First Sight San Diego. I can't wait to see future Married at First Sights. And we wish you the best of luck. I hope you go get somebody pregnant as soon as possible and make a hot baby to play Dungeons and Dragons with one day.
Thank you. Thanks, Steph. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. We'll keep in touch. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.